And welcome, Rooster Boosters. It's Rooster Booster time. I'm the big guy, Scott Ferran. That's Mike Griff, Blue Mountain Paris meeting. We are finally together for a show, everybody. How you doing?
Finally, I know. Killer. Been trying to get it down here. Finally made it down. Happy to fucking make it down.
Petey Reyes almost killed him for the kick about 30 seconds ago. That's why props don't kick. Anyway, Mike, man, it's one of those days where I didn't hydrate properly to be a spectator, and that's sucks.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's a hot, it's a scorcher down here. Super hot. It's it's gonna be. We watched the FDNY play the NYPD. You tell that everyone was getting tired. Yeah.
Last 10 minutes was rough.
So it's going to be a lot of hydration break. How water retention. Who's the hydrated the most? Yeah.
Yeah. And yesterday OGs versus Houston, 110 degrees pitch side. So yeah, we're kind of looking at that same thing. There is a slight breeze on this field, from what I was told by OGs fans. Kind of stagnant against at the OGs. So I think we're going to have a little bit more movement as far as maybe I'd say 90 instead of 110, but 20 degree difference as well. Mikey, you want to go? Oh, hey, what's up, Sarah? How are you? You want to go with the rosters?
We'll go rosters. We want to do ATL or Rugby New York first.
Whoever you got.
We'll go ATL first. Yeah, we'll go opposition first. You got Alex Maughan, Marco Jens Van Renswick, and John Roy Jenkinson as your front three. Justin Basso, Johan Mobson, Connor Cook, Matt Hayton, and Damon Torres are rounding out your forwards. 9 is Ryan Reyes. 10 is Kurt Coleman. Austin White, George Barton, Tay Ragatoro Waitako. Taka is your 13, Cole Davis 14, and Joaquin De La Vega Bendia is your 15. Then for the bench, you got Tiana Erasmus, Will Burke, John Sullivan, Evan Minturn, Billy Hui, Rowan Grouse, Duncan Van Schwelk, and Ryan Nell. That's rounding out your team.
Absolutely. And as you guys know, Willie Burke, Evan Minturn, former Roosters. Will Leonard not traveling with the squad. I know a couple weeks back he broke his nose pretty badly. Don't know if he had any facial issues, but I have a feeling he's sitting out because of that injury. You want to start off with the running guy?
Yes. So number 1, Nick Mayhew. 2, Dylan Fawcett, and 3 is Zach Talafo. 4 is Nick Savetta. 5 is Will Tucker. 6, and your captain is Ben Benasso. 7, Brendan O'Connor, and 8 is Antonio Kirikiri. 9 is Connor Buckley. 10 is Jack Hyden. 11, Ed Fidow. 12 is Quinn Nwadi, 13 Fossey, 14 is Wasaki Naholo, and 15 is this guy named Nene Miller-Scudder. We'll see, what he could do.
And actually, there's a slight change. I believe Wasaki is not going to be in the lineup today. I believe Andrew Cole is going to be taking the place on the other wing. And I got to be honest, we've been very successful with Eddie and Andrew on those wings. So I don't think it's a step in the wrong direction. I think it's a step in a different direction. And we know, Andrew and Eddie, probably the best scoring pair of wings in the MLR at this point.
Then rounding out our bench, we have Caleb Geiger, Chance Wingluski, Wilton Rabolo, Charlie Hewitt, Joe Basser, Connor McManus, Sam Windsor, and I don't know who's going to taking over the place for Andrew Coe. So
I'm trying to look to see. Maybe Jason Emery. Not really sure. We'll find out. But yeah, I think you're going to see it's going to be good playing today. I think it's 2 good lineups. I think it's 2 top scoring lineups. I think we're gonna have a time of it. It's gonna be a close one. I highly doubt it's gonna be as forward heavy as we were against Seattle. We have to remember Seattle is one of the best tackling teams up there with New England. They do allow those solo tackles and they complete them. The issue with that is they're completing those solo tackles. That means we have to then create a breakdown, keep the ball in the breakdown instead of having those free flowing champagne rugby plays where we can get the offloads and stuff like that. That was last week. This is this week. We know ATL. Sometimes they kind of slip up on our tackles. I think we're going to see a couple of lanes open. Don't get me wrong. ATL is a great squad. They can beat us tonight. I'm sure. They're fighting for their playoff lives as well. But we're fighting for a little more than that. If we win out, we have the possibility of getting that number 1 spot and getting that all coveted bye going into round 1 of the playoffs. Or we stay at number 2 and we have a all coveted home match in the first round of the playoffs. So we're really fighting for a lot here. But that doesn't mean ATL is going to roll over.
Yeah, absolutely not. All the games that we played against ATL have been incredibly tough, incredibly tight. You either got the high scoring tight or the low scoring tight. It could go either way. It's definitely, I feel, it's yeah, it's not going to be the ground and pound, which has been talked about, but it's definitely going to be able, who's going to be able to take it to the ground, though, especially out in the backs, none of the champagne rugby, just throwing the ball around willy nilly. It's going to be, control, 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 and who can be able to control the ball throughout, this entire matchup.
And, one thing to note, I haven't heard any updates we had prior. Obviously, getting a start and Karen not being in the lineup, I think, is indicative of it might not have been a catastrophic or a massive injury, but enough where he needs to slow down as we go into this home stretch here. And I think right now what we need to realize is, are we going to start clicking at the right time? It's all about when you start clicking those 4 or 5 matches at the right time, whether or not that's going to go into the playoffs. And again, Sam's trying to kill us with those kicks there. Luckily, Ed Fidel was there. But I think going back to my point is when are we going to get hot? We have to get starting hot now.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the game. Yeah, this is the game to get hot. This is we need this is the jump start. And if we don't do it here, we're God forbid we stall going in. You don't want to go into the playoffs, going in reverse, kind of backing in, having other teams get you in. If you could do it on your own power, this is the time to do it. This is the game to do it, to set it up, for the future for us.
And something I'm noticing right now with this wind here, the wind seems to be it's kind of sporadic. I was on the field earlier. Field level was windy. 30 minutes, it was stagnant, and now it's coming up windy again. It's actually holding up kicks, which is something we really haven't seen as much here in Hoboken as I thought we would see. But, these kicks are really being held up. I'm talking, what was that? Probably 10 yards from where he's originally judging the kick. So I think, that plays into our hands. I think we have some of the best guys who are going to go up and grab that ball. So I think that actually plays into our hands the way we play rugby.
And it seems to be swirling too. That's the other thing. At first, I was going to say it's moving from right to left on your, would be right to left on your screen. And I just felt it coming back with me. So it's, And
it's funny if you don't see it on screen, but there's a American flag just on to the left of the
scoreboard. Yeah.
The scoreboard, and you'll see it now. It's going left, and then you'll feel like it's going the opposite way on this side, and then it'll flip flop. It'll be going right, and you'll feel like it's going the opposite way again. So it's very confusing. So the wind patterns shifts very easily. Man, it's 30 minutes before kickoff, and everybody looks way cooler than me and Mike.
Yeah. It kind of pays to be in shape.
Absolutely. Heads up. And it was rough during watching the NYPDF, the NY match, being in those stands. A lot of people are actually off in the shade. So the stands look really empty, but that's because they're hiding in the shade. It's just one of those things. Oh, there's our buddy, Dave Zimmerman, #1 Rooster fan. Buddy. Making the way all the way from Pennsylvania for all the home matches. Gotta love that. Making more effort.
Yep.
Like Zini did also.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna get to see Nihi Miller Scullard make his debut. I think you're gonna see a couple of bruising runs beginning with Antonio Kirikiri.
They got a super qualified water boy over there, though.
Yeah, I think Andy Ellis is probably the most famous water boy in the MLR at this point. Yeah, he has the bull hat. Typical.
Yeah, very expensive water boy.
Typical Kiwi with the bull hat. Sorry, we're just making sure we don't get shanked in the head. If I need to go to the hospital, I'm going to be pissed off. So I think going back to it, I think it's going to be hard fought. I think it's going to be one of those matches where it's going to be back and forth. And I think if we can capitalize early, like we have been in the last few matches, I think that might make or break the difference. So you want to give your score? Are you updating your score?
I'm not updating my score. I am keeping it Rugby New York by 5. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be tiring, but when we get tired, we seem to bring the pressure and seem to bring it. So I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm still saying Rugby New York by 5.
I don't know if it's going to be as high scoring as Mike thinks it's going to be, but I'm still keeping in mind, looking at everything. I'm like, also be Rugby New York by 5. I think Jay had it by 3.
Yeah.
So they think it's going to be a little bit tighter. Maybe we finally get one of those kicking at the death to win the matches. I've been saying it all season. Eventually it's going to happen. We just don't know when it's going to happen. But guys, go watch on TRN. You got MSG Plus. It's hot. Stay in your air-conditioned house. Let's go. Let's watch Rooney get this win. Bonus 0.5 wins. Keeps us in the hunt for first place. So we're coming for the Free Jacks. I'm the big guy, Scott Farrell.
Watch out.
That's Mike the Grand Poobah Parazzini, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.